Another week has passed, so it's time to see the best suggestions of the week. The first suggestion is by Pasta Hobo. Fishing increases the frequency of ambient music playing. Audible jukeboxes prevent it entirely. Pretty simple twofold suggestion. When fishing, the chances of an ambient music track playing is significantly increased, so you don't just have to sit in silence. And music doesn't play when a jukebox is playing a music disc within earshot of you, as well as muting any presently playing ambient tracks. This is something I'm genuinely surprised isn't in the game, but whenever I use jukeboxes, half the time an ambient music track starts up during. Casual Loop 25 responded, maybe also increase the chance of ambient music while riding a minecart, boat, long distances. The next suggestion is by Casual Loop 25. Flying foxes and vampire bats as variants of bats to add life and variety to the world. Pretty much every passive neutral mob and most hostile mobs has a different skin, state, variant, just something to add variety. Except turtle dolphins, but variants have been suggested many times before. Except bats. In fact, besides a texture change, bats have been pretty much forgotten by the game. It's a shame because they add life and ambience to the world, so I think they should have a few variants to bring them up to snuff with other mobs. Flying Fox. Location: flying foxes spawn in jungles and on islands, not mushroom islands. Appearance: flying foxes are much larger than normal bats, with both reddish orange and black fur covering their bodies and more doe-like faces with bigger eyes. They have smaller, rounder eyes and proportionally longer wings and feet. They regularly emit faint glittering and occasionally make squeaking and squawking noises. Behavior: flying foxes fly around high up in the trees and hang down from them, sometimes coming down to pollinate. They have 8 arts of hell. Flying foxes can be fed apples, chorus fruits, they aren't picky, sweet berries, glowberries, and melon slices. This fully heals them and can be used to breed them, as well as to grow baby flying foxes into adults quicker. They also follow you if you are holding any of these items in your hand. Flying foxes pollinate similarly to bees, however, it is more incidental. They don't make honey, but they still grow plants, crops. They fly over and have a chance of spreading flowers to grass blocks when covered in pollen. Since in real life, flying foxes occasionally eat insects, flying foxes attack any silverfish they see. Drops: none. The brown bat. Location: brown bats have a small chance to spawn in places of any normal bat. Brown bats can also spawn in abandoned villages, in reference to them roosting in houses. During the day, they are sometimes found hanging under trees if the tree is close enough to a cave. Appearance: brown bats have slightly smaller but pointier ears. Their nose and the insides of their ears are slightly redder. They have pitch black eyes and light brown fur. The sounds they make are a bit more chirpy and chittery. Behavior: brown bats act like normal bats for the most part. They have 4 hearts of health. If you're holding a spider eye, they flock around you and will follow you. They attack silverfish on sight, so if you're exploring a stronghold, it might be worth it to lure a few of them with you. They also attack spiders and cave spiders on sight, so they can be helpful for abandoned mineshafts, spider spawners, and general cave exploring as well. You can feed them spider eyes to fully heal them. Drops: none. Note: normal bats would also attack silverfish on sight. I decided not to give them mobs drops because 1. The flying fox is endangered, and 2. Darn cute. 2. Mojang policy of not giving new mobs drops, and 3. The standard bat doesn't drop any item or experience. Illustrious Rise 9477 wrote, cool, I would love to see this in game. The OP wrote, thanks, more mobs variety wouldn't hurt. The next suggestion is an idea for the next autumn drop by somebody. Firstly, I'd appreciate that you told me who tag belongs to this publication. I'm still learning English, so sorry for the mistakes. You can comment if you have some extra ideas for me. For another drop, I think I have a pretty good idea. Grapes. It seems like an uncreative idea, but it's not. My suggestion is that this grape had 3 phrases: wild, domestic, and sweet. Later, I'll explain this. Also, the grapes need to be dark and light. Okay, so the grapes would appear on trees, hanging on their leaves, preferably near the coast. They would appear in the wild phase. Depending on the climate of the biome, they will be dark in temperate biomes and light in warm ones, and they wouldn't appear in cold ones. In the wild phase, each bunch of grapes would contain 4 fruits, and each one of these would give half a drumstick or 1 point of hunger. The player can collect some grapes and grow them by placing them with right click on an under raised from the ground fence. The plant would grow horizontally like a moss carpet or similar. This plant would spread out trying to get close to other fences around. It would take 2 to 4 in-game days to grow them, and each grape carpet with fruits would give 5 to 7 grapes. More or less than 80% of these would be domestic grapes, 15 to 20% of wild, and would be a small possibility to get a sweet grape. The process repeats to get better grapes. You can grow any of these 3 phases to get better types of possibles. Domestic grapes would give 2 points of hunger, and sweet ones would give 4 points. Perhaps this is too much for a single grape, but I can think of something better to try to capture the player's attention. The grape carpet could be collected with scissors, and the texture would have some leaf details and some small grapes. I love that for a bunch of fruits had a 3D texture like other crops. It would be great. This grape item would change for each phase. It would be bigger and more of a vivid color as the quality upgrades. Thank you very much for reading my first suggestion. I await your comments. Armadillo Node 9494. I think it's a nice idea. The sweet grapes could be a good collectible, similarly to apples. I'd suggest adding at least 1 more use to them, even if it's niche, so that players would be encouraged to grow them. I'm Great 084 wrote, grape jam would be pretty cool, same as sweet berry jam. I think we just need a food expansion in general, to be honest. And the OP responded, great idea. I also think a food and crop expansion is necessary. And there you have it. These are some of the best suggestions of the week. If you are interested in what Mojang has added to the game, please check out this video.